What we do here is go back, 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 back.
Hello everyone, my name is Jaden Jones. Welcome to the first interview in this series where I have an open conversation with elite basketball players and coaches and let them walk us through their journey from where they started to where they are today. Our first guest will be none other than American big man Zena Edosomwan. He hails from Los Angeles, California, and has played pro ball in many different countries. After turning down multiple NCAA D1 offers, he committed to Harvard University to major in East Asian Studies. Zena has played over 5 years of professional basketball and recently hosted a Webby-nominated documentary with USA Today called Game On. Welcome and thanks for sitting down with me today, Zena.
Man, honor. Thank you for having me, Jaden. I really appreciate you. And that was a cool intro, man. Thank you. I wasn't expecting all that. Thank you, man.
Well, hey, you were born and raised in LA, so at what age did you start playing basketball?
I started playing when I was about 7 years old. 7 years old, I started playing the game, yeah.
Growing up in LA, were there some major basketball role models that you kind of looked up to and really started to emulate?
Oh, man, yeah. I grew up around the time where, like, when I started really getting into basketball was like when the Lakers did the three-peat. So I remember just growing up being like a big Shaq and Kobe fan. You know, Robert Ory, Rick Fox, like Brian Shaw, Derek Fisher. Like it was a really Phil Jackson. You know, so that was like the pinnacle. You know, seeing them three-peat, and then obviously like Kobe, but young Kobe. You know, Kobe's my favorite player of all time. You know, just his mentality, the Mamba mentality, his approach to the game, his competitiveness, and just seeing Shaq's dominance. So no, definitely those guys.
And then, so at what point did someone say that you could do this as a profession? You could grow up to be, a basketball player, or did you have that ever since you saw that number 8 Kobe, torching defenses and really giving it that Mamba mentality?
You know, I think definitely, my dad was really big and influential in that, he was the one who basically trained me, uh, basically was the one who always kind of instilled like self-belief in me. And he was very influential. Like he really pushed me, but like he made me understand that anything you do in life, you got to work hard at it, especially if you want to be good or have the chance. And he always kind of, even before I kind of saw the talent or belief in myself that I could, play college ball, play varsity, play any of these things, he definitely was like, just keep working. So he always kind of, I don't know, I got to really give, my dad the credit there. And I feel like as I've gotten older and I've grown up, as a man, from a boy to a teenager to a young man to, like I told him this. I was like, I really start to see all the lessons he taught me more and more as I kind of go through life. So no, he was really influential in that regard, and just in general. Yeah, I love him.
It's amazing. I know that parents can do, a special
Yeah,
sort of thing to your career, and to have that kind of support system early on must have been really great
definitely.
for you. And then obviously, you get to that point where you're playing high level ball and you get into accepted into Harvard. You're getting to play Division I basketball in the Ivy League. You're going to one of the best
Yeah,
schools there is academically. What was
yeah.
that like? What was the story behind you getting accepted into Harvard and you start to play your first game at Harvard?
My story with basketball is very interesting. When I first started, I was just young. I was just a kid who likes to, chill, watch cartoons on Saturdays, and all of a sudden, my parents kind of ambushed me into basketball, and then like it took some time for me to really grow and enjoy it. But I'm really happy, they did it. So from going to that to, my freshman year of high school, I played freshman basketball. I played on the freshman team, and my sophomore year, I played on the varsity team. But I had two big guys who were Division I ahead of me, but they taught me a lot. They really were like my big brothers, Eric Swope, Damian Kane, and like I kept just kind of like learning. So I kind of had to go through a whole process. I feel like that's been the kind of theme of my life. And then all of a sudden, by like my junior year, all of a sudden I went from like, zero offers to like 30, 40 offers from, some big programs. And then when Harvard kind of came in, um, to be honest with you, I really thought I was going to go, stay in the Pac-12 and go to USC or UCLA. Like that was like my dream schools. Uh,
Hmm.
and stay close to home. Everything was convenient. My parents can watch me play. High major D1. But then Coach Amaker came and Harvard basketball, and I remember visiting the campus, and I was like, I don't know if I would necessarily fit in at Harvard because I feel like there's a stereotype of, you know, there's not a lot of, maybe it's the same type of, personalities there and not as diverse of people in terms of just interest, everything, interest, backgrounds, etc., whatever it is. So when I went there, actually seeing it live and direct, I was like, oh wow, there's a lot of different types of people, cool people, interesting people, all sorts of just the diversity was way, way more than I expected because sometimes there's assumptions being made, especially with institutions like that. And then to end up playing for the university was an absolute honor. I mean, we made the NCAA tournaments. We almost had a chance to beat North Carolina, Michigan State. We upset Cincinnati. So I got to be a part of something really special at a really amazing institution with a really great coach and just great people overall. And I think the biggest thing I would try to give credit to the people I met at Harvard was, people were a lot more down to earth than I expected, and a lot more humble. And I thought it was going to be a lot of people always say the word pretentious. For me, overall, I didn't get too much of that experience because for me, I got love for everybody, whether you are, whatever position you are, whether you're the president or the, you know, the janitor, anyone. It's all respect. We're all human beings in that process. So it was a really amazing experience. Had its ups and downs like anything, but I learned through it, and I'm so thankful for those experiences because it's helped me now.
That's amazing, and the
Yeah,
thing
man.
you said about having respect for anyone from the custodian to the
Yes,
front office
exactly.
staff to whoever, that's so key because that's how you build relationships, and I'm sure that's how that how you've seen your career grow throughout your time overseas in North America and all that. So, what are some of your fondest memories at Harvard? I know that you've had some big games there. You made second team All Ivy League in your
Yeah,
junior year, which is very
yeah,
impressive. So, what are some of
yeah.
your key memories that you remember, or some big games that you had playing at one of the top Ivy League schools?
From a team success, I think one of the most special moments I had was us beating Cincinnati because they had a really good team that year. Like, and to be a part of the NCAA tournament, to be a part of March Madness, and only one team gets out the Ivy League. One team. So like, it's not
Mm,
like the bigger schools, the ACC, where so it's a gauntlet itself. And the Ivy League schedule is very interesting because it's Friday, Saturday. So you have, if you're on the road, you go play at Penn, and then you go play at you go to Princeton, New Jersey, and then Penn the next day. Like it's a grind, and a lot of people don't know that. But getting to play Cincinnati in the tournament and winning and being on the court, I didn't even play that game, but the energy was so incredible. I was a freshman. The energy was so incredible. The atmosphere was so incredible. Uh, and to win a game in the NCAA tournament, wow, and just to be in an arena, we're in a legit arena, with just fans and from all the different schools. That was pretty epic. I think from a personal standpoint, I remember we had a chance to. I think we played against Bruce Pearl in Auburn, and like we were in Hawaii for this tournament. I think it was the Diamond Head Classic, and I was really in my zone. I had a really good tournament, like big games, like 20 and 15, 20 and 13. Like was really in my rhythm against like high level talent. And I feel like anyone who's ever played quote unquote mid major, low mid, whatever is defined as. I know it's obviously different now with NIL and everything. I think whenever you get a chance to kind of play the bigger schools, especially kind of being recruited by those schools, whenever you get to go play those schools, it's a bigger like kind of chip on your shoulder, and you want to really perform. And especially kind of being a school like Harvard, which I think before that wasn't really known as that much of a basketball school. It's kind of just always seen at Harvard, in the academic realm or in that type of space. To be able to show like, hey man, like we can hoop, that was big too. So I was really proud of not just my performance, but the team's performance that tournament. We lost to Buddy Hield in the championship, but it
mm.
was and Oklahoma was the number. I think they were number one in the nation at one point, number four at that time, number five. But we're competitive, and I was really proud of us overall and just representing the school that way.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
And so
yeah,
throughout
man.
that whole March Madness run, and playing those top schools with the top talent, who would you say were you starstruck against, or that are NBA talent now who are playing in the league that you got to see firsthand and get to go up against?
No, I would definitely say Buddy Hield. I mean, the Buddy Hield Oklahoma days were. I'm talking about like shoot it anywhere. Like it was, you know, yeah.
He was a
Buddy Hield
pro.
that year was. Yeah, I mean, obviously he's had an amazing NBA career too, but it's really cool to see. Yeah, Buddy Hield in college was different. I mean, he's still an amazing, great player now, but just ball in his hand anytime, like shoot from anywhere, just uber talented. So yeah, I think Buddy Hill would
And
definitely
so,
go up
and so
there.
for your you're someone who I see in the community all the time loves to give back. So for right now, for let's say there's a young high schooler that's watching this video, what is a piece of advice that you would give them if they were looking to play Division 1 basketball in the coming years?
That's a great question. I think the first thing is like you have to be consistent. This is going to take work, and I feel like sometimes because we're in the age of, I know what people that say this, the age of social media, like and with mixtapes and instant kind of instant gratification, like a lot of the things you see with success is unseen hours. You know, with anything you do, like it's the work you put in behind the scenes when the cameras aren't there, and it's like not just being diligent about that work, but also like really putting your heart and soul into that work, that effort. Like it's there's a difference between like I'm going to work versus like I'm really locked in on what I'm doing, on getting better, and that's the part where I think that separates a lot of people is being consistent in that. Um, and you hear that all the time. I got to work hard, got to work hard, but you also got to work on the right things, right? So like, okay, I'm a big man. I got to make sure as a big man, no matter what, a couple things a big man always has to do. A good big man, right? Like you got to play defense, right? You got to be able to play defense. Got to be a force. Run the floor. Finish around the rim. Set good screens. This is just like some of the basics you got to think of, the little skills. When you get a chance, just be down at rebound, like especially rebounding, blocking shots. Like a lot of guys in the NBA are making very successful, huge careers just off doing those things. So I think sometimes you see nowadays is that people want to kind of, I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this. But like when you see NBA teams or basketball at the highest level, or as you continue to get more levels, everyone was already the best. Every college player was the best guy in high school. Every NBA guy was the best guy in college. But when you are the high level you go, you got to be able to kind of play your role and be a superstar in that. And if you're able to kind of buy into that and be a superstar in your role, you can have a lot of success. Some guys will see players who, they may be a super great scorer, but you're like, why isn't this guy able to stick? Whereas maybe a guy who's less talented, but he knows like, okay, I'm gonna space out, shoot the three. You know what I mean? 3-and-D guy, play defense, shoot the three. Maybe he obviously can do more, but that's just what the role of his team might be. But at the end of the day, the team is succeeding. His role fits, and he's getting paid, having a successful career. So I feel like as guys continue to get better, working on the right things, and also your mentality and your attitude is super important, man. I think always, always, always think that I can always learn. There's always, I always think to myself, I can learn from an 80-year-old man. I can learn from a 6-month-old child. There's always lessons in life. You know what I mean? So I feel like my mindset, or I think a good mindset to have, is like I can always learn. Sometimes, we as people, you don't want to hear advice, but like sometimes it's important to listen to actually, absorb rather than listening to speak. So I feel like, showing maturity, your attitude, and just being consistent in your work ethic are really important things. But your attitude is everything. There's guys who've gotten opportunities because of the attitude. There are guys who've lost opportunities because of the attitude, even if they have all the talent in the world. Because people like to deal with people that they like. It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, might be my advice.
And a great example of that is Jamal Shed, guard for the
Yes.
Raptors, who,
Yes.
there's that viral video of him picking up trash after a game, after his teammates kicked it all over, and next thing you know, he's the one that's getting a contract in the NBA, getting big minutes, and people remember you for that. People will remember you for putting in that extra effort and being kind to the front office and
Exactly.
to the custodians, to the game day
Yeah.
staff, everyone. It truly matters as an athlete, and I think you're absolutely right. It
Yeah.
all starts with the work ethic and the attitude.
No, absolutely.
Let's go back to your career. In 2022, you joined the Ottawa Blackjacks.
Yeah.
So, what were some of the factors that enticed you to join the CEBL? And how did that process look?
Man, in terms of joining the Ottawa Blackjacks in 2022, I got to give all the credit to, Javon Shepard. Obviously, he's on TV, kicking butt on Sports Center, and just being a voice for at the NBA, Raptors, Canada. Like he's amazing. He saw me at I think a Raptors G League kind of tryout, and just kind of all of a sudden kept in touch. And I was actually playing in what's now known as the like super like basketball league for the Sudbury Five. So I was playing in it was NBL one I think at that time, but now it's changed to SBL if I'm correct. Um, and playing for the Sudbury Five. Thank you to them for the opportunity because, and he kind of like kept in touch or kind of just at least kept watching, and all of a sudden invited me for the opportunity to play for the Blackjacks, and I was so excited because I honestly stopped playing basketball after college, so I didn't touch a basketball for almost 2 3 years, and I didn't even know like how I was gonna play again, but I don't know. I just had faith that God was gonna. I just felt like if I put in my work, shout out to my guy Dash Athletics in LA, he's amazing, and just trained. I just felt like I'm talented enough. I have faith in myself, and I have confidence in myself that like the opportunity will come to me. I just have to work every day. So I did that for a year and a half. Lost 50, 60 pounds to just get back in basketball shape, learning how to play again. And then, thankfully, Javon saw me out of a crowd of people there and gave me the opportunity, especially as like you know, a guy who really didn't have a resume for 3 years. Everyone was like, "Where have you been? What have you been up to?" I was working a startup at that point, so I'm very thankful. And the Blackjacks has really changed my life. Just the people I've met, the friendships I have the lifelong friendships. Getting to meet you, Coach Jimmy, just what he's meant to my career. Dang, Tyrell, just Carrie, like I mean everybody, Marika, like just a lot of great people I've met in the organization. Coach Dave, like um, so yeah, it's been the fans, Will, my guy Willpower, just a lot of amazing people because of Blackjacks organization. So yeah, that's what that process was like, and I'm thankful that it's been amazing. 3 seasons. Yeah,
And we're going to touch on Dang and Tyrell in
yeah,
just a bit.
yeah,
But you did mention Willpower. Want to shout out to him because he's definitely a super fan. He's really
yeah,
helped you connect with the Ottawa community, and that's why
yeah,
you've become a fan favorite with the Blackjacks. Everyone knows who you are. You got out into the community. You really created an emotional connection with the fans, which is why like you will forever be loved there. And I want to talk about that 2022 roster with the Blackjacks because it
yeah,
was loaded with talented big men specifically, including yourself.
yeah,
But one of
yeah,
whom recently passed away, which was Chad Posthumous. So you played with Chad. What do you remember about him, and maybe give us a favorite memory because he was definitely another fan favorite, just like yourself, and really played with a lot of heart. Ended his career in Winnipeg, and was beloved everywhere he went.
man. Chad is a superstar, man. Anyone who's ever met Chad, he is one of the. He's obviously ferocious, tough, strong on the court, but he's this kindest, nicest, like most welcoming guy off it. Like always make you laugh, always just like his whole energy, hilarious, fun, and he really brought guys together. I mean, Chad, anyone like obviously we traveled together. Any city we went to, any place we went to, Chad had, oh, I got a buddy of mine over here. Oh, I got a buddy of mine over here. And like, these aren't just regular people. They might be, like they might own a place there, but he just had so many relationships and people was very beloved. And Chad could go into a room and bring different people together who might not come together if it wasn't for him being the kind of bridge between. And we're all just having a great time. And I don't mean that in a negative way, just in a very positive way, just how much of a light he is, you know. So just RIP to Chad and my condolences because Chad is one of like he's a special human. I mean, I know he means a lot to me. He means a lot to just the whole country of Canada. You know what I mean? Or anyone he's interacted with. Like Chad is really like example of the man of the people. In terms of one of my favorite memories of him, I think we had a trip to Edmonton, and like the whole time we're just like, because Chad is just locked. Like anywhere you go, Chad is known and people really love and respect him. So we just start chanting Chad and Tim because we just saw like Chad is the president. He's beloved by everyone, and it's so tough everything that happened. But I'm really thankful that I had the experience to have him as a teammate and just a really like amazing individual and teammate. And my condolences to him and his family. I've been able to meet. I think his dad and his grandpa and just great people. So, and obviously there's impact in the CBL. Who's big overall. Like one of the earliest people there playing for different teams, and everywhere he gone, he's a beast.
Yeah, he was definitely special to not only the CBL but Canada basketball as a whole. Very happy that he was able to go back to his hometown in Winnipeg and get to represent for that city because I know that they showed him a lot of love,
Yeah,
and yes, he will be greatly missed. Following that season in 2023 was arguably the most talented Blackjacks team that didn't win. So you had players such as Kadregre, Jackson
yes,
Rowe, Dang Adele, Tyrell Tate, Thomas Grubb, Mike Flowers, yourself. So
yeah.
I want you to tell me about that team in particular and what do you remember about the camaraderie on that team?
Man, that team was absolutely, like you said, I feel like a lot of the blackjack teams are really, really good, but I think that team, in terms of like position by position, Jackson Rowe, amazing. Obviously, with the Warriors, Tom the Legend, just kicking butt in the ACB. Mike Flowers having an amazing Kadre, like dang, like yeah, man, absolutely tight. Just guys all doing really, really well. Really amazing group of people, first and foremost, and just like you know, mature, responsible, fun group of guys. Um, Obviously, it's tough when one thing about the CBL that's tough is like it's one game. One game and it's one game. It's like the NCAA tournament, and then on top of that, you have um, just the target score. So, those games get tough. But I think that was definitely one of my most fun years of playing basketball with such a team, like with the team that much talent and just really overall good guys. And I really want to, Coach Jimmy Duran, amazing, just putting those guys together. And, he loves versatility. So that team was like guys could play multiple positions, guard multiple positions. And it was a fun year. It was a fun year. Can I actually ask you, what was kind of your favorite part about that team that year? From just, from actually like watching us and actually like, what did it look like to you when we were on?
Honestly, it was so much fun to watch that team play because, like you said, guys can guard 1 through 5. You can switch and be fine. You can have
Yeah.
you getting switched onto a guard out on the perimeter, and it would be, look, you're going to get a hand up, you're going to play tough defense, it's going to be fine. And offensively, you just had straight killers. Like anyone can get the ball and get a basket. So for someone who was in the front office watching at that time, every
Yeah.
night I was completely confident that the Blackjacks were going to take the W.
Yeah.
100%.
I love that. I love that mindset. Yeah, man. I don't think people understand how like that, how tough it is to like so many talented guys, short amount of time, guys going in and out, summer leagues. Like it's so much happening and just like. But I think you're right. Just definitely trying to put the best team on the court every time to the best of your ability, whatever the matchup is. It might be, because each game is different. But it's like
Hmm.
it's so. Well, I don't think people understand behind the scenes of the CBL how much like because you could, like you said, you could see a guy not get any playing time on one team, go somewhere else and flourish there and be a starter. It's competitive.
Exactly. And you
Uh,
talked about target time prior to that, and you have I kind of want to know your thoughts on it. How have you been able to adjust to playing, and what's the mindset of a CBL player that's when they're going into target time, and what's kind of their do they have any emotional switch that they have to turn on or off? Do they have to slow the game down? Do they have to speed it up? Kind of what's your pro athlete mindset when you're going into a situation like that?
yeah, it is. Target time is one of the coolest. I feel like just from a psychological hoop standpoint, things you'll experience because whether you're down or you're up, it's like it. You know what I mean? Because okay, if you're up, you're like, okay, we're close to this goal. It's right there for us. If we're down, we're like, okay, we got to score and get stops and kind of like and just be very methodical. And there's no time. You know what I mean? So it's like there's nothing that's going to save you except like you have to get to that goal. One of us has to do it. So it really and I've you've seen we've seen like we've been a part of amazing moments in target time where yes it's in your and on the other end where it's like we almost had it. So
Yeah.
definitely and from an entertainment standpoint and just it's a very very unique thing to be a part of and it just creates a different side of the game in terms of just like how intense it is to hey we got to get to this goal or hey we got to stop them and trying to win those games. No, I think that's one of the most unique, obviously, things about the CBL, and I'm so happy to see how much it's flourishing. And every year, it just keeps getting bigger and better players, and like just more talent, and just everyone. Guys are always messaging me like, "Hey, man, I'm trying to play in the CBL. How do I, it's difficult. So it's a blessing.
It's getting so talented, and everyone who I come across who asks me about it, I said, look, you just got to go to a game. You got to understand that these guys have played in the March Madness tournament. These guys have
Yeah,
played in the NBA. They played in the G League. They played overseas. These guys are the top of the top talent in the world. This is a product that you need to get behind. And I would say two other people that are Showtime in
yeah,
their own right. Dang Adele, Tyrell Tate. I
yeah,
mean, you guys have been on the Blackjacks for 3 seasons together.
yeah.
So, what can you tell me about your relationship with them, and how have you each grown as players and have been able to come together to create something special on the court?
Man, those guys are like brothers to me because I feel, you know, off the court, we're obviously all great friends. We hang out, we laugh together. I feel like we definitely, keep a fun atmosphere, cracking jokes with each other, just keeping the vibe, super fun, calm, hanging out together. But on the court, like I love how we can push each other and be like, "See, I need you," dang, hey, come on, T. And it's like they're ultimate competitors, and I love that. I love when people can turn that switch on and off, right? Like how I am off the court versus on the court is two different people. And anyone who really knows me is like I'm way more intense on the court. I'm in a whole different mode. Like I'm trying to win, versus off the court where it's like I'm laughing, I'm just cool and I'm vibing. So being able to be with those guys for three, summers has been incredible. Those guys are really, really my brothers. We always check in with each other, even throughout our seasons, wherever we're at. And like I'm always kind of, we're all watching each other. Like, oh, how's everything going here? How's your season? How's your, you know, talking to each other, and man, they're talented. I mean, Tyrell, lights out shooter, and just a competitor. Like he loves to win. I mean, I still remember his corner three in Edmonton, to win the game during target time, and I think he threw up the heart sign, and his grandma was in the stands. It was like the
Yep.
most. No, but he's a gamer, man, and when it's time to really play and be there, and I think Dang Adele, he's really been, I mean, a superstar in this league. Like he's one of the best players every year in the CBL, MVP level player always, and he's done a lot obviously for the team. He's done a lot for Ottawa, and he's also, I think Dang has done a, for me, he's helped me a lot in terms of just, he told me my first year when I was struggling a bit. He was like, Z, like you need to just dominate and be a beast. Keep it very simple, you know, because I was struggling a little bit, especially my first year. I'm not gonna lie to you, like, having to adjust and really wanted to perform well at the CBL because I knew it would lead to more opportunities. But Dang really helped me during that time as like, yo, like you can do it, man, and just stay confident, stay with it. His advice has kind of just helped me, not just now, but in other realms of my professional career in basketball. With his experience, obviously playing at the NBA, playing in all high level leagues around the world, and playing at Louisville with Coach Patino. So, Dang is it's a brother. We traveled the world together, like that's my guy, and Tyrell too. So I'm very proud of those guys. I'm obviously, I'm gonna miss them this summer, but I'm so excited, and I think the team looks really, really good. And I think Coach Jimmy has done an amazing job, and Coach Dave, and I'm really excited. I pray everyone is healthy, and it's gonna be an amazing season.
Yeah. And I feel like playing with those guys too, they can teach you how to be much more versatile on the court because they're so good at one-on-one game where they, as a big man, I'm sure they're teaching you how to be a better big man by spacing the floor, giving them
Yeah,
space to, but also, allowing you the opportunity where they draw the double team and you go up for an alley
yeah,
oop or for a pass on the baseline. So they must have been
exactly.
able to, your communication must have been outstanding throughout the whole, time that you've been together.
You're absolutely right about that. They are amazing passers, and I remember like Dang, especially he would draw the double Tyrell lob. Like they're like, Z, be ready, he's coming for you. You know what I mean? And it's like as a big man, it's fun to just get it. Okay, right there at the rim, go dunk, go bring it home, and just how they're very great basketball minds. Which I really appreciate their IQ and how they approach the game.
So you played on teams in Mexico, Finland, Ivory Coast, France, and Japan. So
Yeah,
what are some of the playing styles, differences, and similarities that you see when playing overseas compared to North American style of play?
definitely. I know. I'm starting with the Europe and USA one. I feel like Europe is definitely some people like to say a lot more methodical, a lot more slowed down. Yes, definitely. In some ways, the game is kind of broken down, but also, I think anyone who's played in Europe, you'll see like different parts of Europe have different styles. Like I feel like France is a little more like up tempo, stronger, athletic. Playing in like Slovenia is a little more like definitely methodical, but physical, tough, grinded out type of games. Or U.S. or North America, a little more one on one can show off your skills, a little more fast paced. So it's interesting to see, the those kind of different styles in comparison for sure.
And in your documentary, you touched on, the Chinese culture, playing over there, the up and coming game of basketball, but also, they're very underrated. They do have a deep history and love of basketball. So
Absolutely.
in your opinion, what has been an underrated country to play in? And is there a country that you hope to play in someday that you haven't yet?
Oh wow, yeah. Actually, my first year in Japan has been pretty surreal. Like, I really didn't realize how much people love basketball and how much it's growing here. I think baseball is the number one sport here. Obviously, you have the great Shohei
Hmm.
Ohtani, but Japanese basketball and basketball fans, um, they cheer the whole game. Like they will literally with the little things people the whole game like and heart and soul into it. Like they really are supportive of the game and how much the game is building here. But I think the biggest thing, honestly, from traveling and playing in different countries, it kind of blows my mind that like here I am in growing up in LA playing basketball, but how global the game truly is. How much basketball isn't just like a sport to people, but a lifestyle. Like, oh wow, like I'm from LA and I'm from North America, but like basketball means just as much to you as it does to me. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's that serious. It's that important to win. It's that important to build a culture. It's that important to build a team. So I think it's just an overall appreciation of the globalization of the game and seeing like how the game is thought of at different levels, uh, with their own kind of twists and turns. But just like man, people love this game. People really love this game that I love and I grew up with. So that affinity to it kind of really makes it special for me. And like, wow, kind of still blows my mind because then you realize how big the world is, you know, and how
And
global.
and I'm sure that you've seen the influx of university players. I don't know if you've seen it, but specifically in Canada, there's been a lot of university players, thanks to the CBL, that are getting a chance to play not only in the CBL, but then go overseas to play,
Yeah,
and play professionally after they're done their schooling. So, if there's, we talked about the high schools earlier, with work ethic and attitude being, two key pieces of advice that you'd give to high schoolers. But looking at university players, maybe they're senior at their university right now. What kind of advice would you give to them that are looking at their overseas options? What can you tell them about being a player that is playing in a different country, waking up in a different time zone, and
yeah.
just living the life as a citizen in a new country?
Man, yeah. I think before you go overseas, I think you need to really take time and say like, is this what I want to do? But I also think there's a part of you that you could try it out. Like if you are fresh out of college, no responsibilities, you love the game, and you feel like, hey, I want to continue this, like then definitely give it a shot and give it at least a season. To know if is this something you really want to do because especially starting out of college and maybe you don't go to a big school like a North, you know what I mean? It's different. You may not get ideal money. You may not get a lot of amazing perks. Like it's a grind, but if you love the game and you're willing to go on that journey, especially as you may not have kids or like real responsibilities yet, like why wouldn't you go try that opportunity to go travel the world, see different cultures, experience something that like you otherwise wouldn't probably really be able to in most settings before you go potentially work a job or anything or work a job or something different, back home or close to you. So that's something to definitely consider. I think another aspect of it is playing overseas. I like to think of it like this: is you have to really have an open mind because it's almost like when you're going to someone else's house for the first time, like there's a respect factor there, and it's like even if I may do things a certain way, I'm in your home, so I want to make sure that like my respect, learning your custom, learning your culture. I think that's how you make the most out of your overseas experience is kind of being able to embrace the culture, see different things, go check outside. If that's not really you, then sometimes it makes it a little tougher because being overseas is very isolating. You're by yourself a lot. After practice, if you're in a place that's cold, there's so many different factors. You're far away from home, homesickness, different language. So it's very, very isolating. And, every overseas player would tell you, no matter how long they've played, that's difficult. It's tough sometimes not to have people with you be in a different country. But also, there's a lot of beautiful moments. And I think if you're able to embrace those aspects, then the journey gets a little bit easier.
That's amazing. And I know that a lot of overseas markets are looking for people to come over, but it's just about taking that chance and weighing the pros and cons to see if it's truly worth it. And in your case, it has been. I mean, you've been absolutely killing it overseas. And just last year, late last year, you went to China to film a documentary with USA Today called Game
Yeah.
On, which is available on YouTube and was nominated for a Webby. So congratulations on that.
Thank you, man.
But tell me about that and your experience filming it in China, because when me and my fiance saw it, we absolutely loved it. We had probably, I'm not joking, we probably had a 2 hour conversation following it, talking about not only how well you did, but also talking about how different the lifestyles are and how similar they are in some senses. Just talking about, the love of basketball, the love of the sport.
Being a part of Game On with USA Today and just the whole team. Big thank you to Blue Chalk Media, Matthew Slesky, David Hamlin, our director. So he was Emmy Award winner. He's big time. Just they did an incredible job. Everyone, Guizhou TV, CICC. That was one of the. It was tough because I left. I had to leave to go film it during our season, so that was difficult. But
Mhm.
it was one of the most. I don't think words can truly, you know, uh, how powerful of an experience that was because I've been to China before, but I was in like rural China. And I mean rural in the most respectful way. Like I was people were walking their, oxes in the middle of the streets, like water buffalo. Like it was such a different experience than anything I've ever been a part of. But at the end of the day, they love basketball. And it was amazing to see how much representing, their village was a big deal, how physical the games were, and also just like how China has combined sports, technology. Like the games are all live streamed, and they have a huge arena, uh, with a big like it's like an arena, like an NBA arena size screen
Oh,
showing the game.
wow.
Yes, in the village, bro. And they have like cameras and they have big performers, fireworks. It is a true spectacle. Like I've never fireworks going. I've never seen anything of that magnitude. And it's like the dichotomy between, playing in this village basketball association that's streamed all throughout China and beyond, and people going back to their village. It was so fascinating to see how these worlds collide. And in China, China, even though I was in rural China, you'll see basketball courts everywhere, like everywhere.
Really?
Like yes, I believe I was told that the government made sure like they built basketball courts. Like you'll see basketball courts in the middle of like by a river, on a river, by a lake, like places so deep into China. You'd be like, how did they? It's a basketball court. So the game meaning that much and people really loving basketball at that level, to see that was incredible. And to see people who, you know, they're not going to play in the NBA or even play in the CBA, China's version, um, but they're superstars in the Village Basketball Association, and they're super competitive, and they have so much pride. And just seeing their culture, from the food to the vendors to just their chants, was a once in a lifetime experience. And honestly, being like not even the only African American or anything, just the only like real foreigner around, like, and just how welcomed I was by the people, was like welcoming to their homes, allowing me to speak with them, talk to them, play basketball. That was something I feel hopefully was conveyed through the film, but also just being there live and direct. Man, I'm so grateful. And I really thank God just for that opportunity and the people that supported. So thank you to you and your lady for just your support, and everyone who supported Game On, and just even how it's been received. Because at the end of the experience, I really wasn't worried about, I hope people. I'm just like, it was such a profound experience that like I'm glad it reflected to the outside world how powerful it was.
I'm gonna get you out. on one last question. Okay,
Yeah.
so I need you to think about this one, and I'm
Okay.
gonna, it's kind of lengthy, so I just want you to listen and
Yeah.
give me your top five CEBL players that you've played with or against,
Yeah.
just based off of pure skill and talent. So I'm gonna
Your
name
skill and
some of
talent.
the
Okay.
CEBL's top players that you've played against to jog your memory a little bit. So we got Cat Barber, played
Yeah.
for Scarborough. Ahmad Hill,
Oh, oh, oh. Yeah.
just played with Montreal, but just signed with Niagara.
I
Teddy
saw that.
Allen,
Yeah. Yeah. He's a
Teddy
beast.
Allen, Nick Ward,
Oh yeah.
Brody
Nick's a
Clark,
beast. Yeah. Brody Clark.
Thomas Kennedy,
Yes.
Khalil Ahmad,
Yeah.
Niagara as
Oh
well.
yeah. Khalil. Yep. Oof.
Kadre, and Khalif Young. So those were some of the top players these past few years.
Yeah.
So give me your top five CBL players that you've played with or against, just based off of pure skill and talent.
Yeah. Before I do that, also, I just want to tell you, man, big congratulations. That word fiance sounds good with you, man. I'm so excited for you guys, and that's beautiful, bro. I'm serious, man. That is like
No, I
amazing,
appreciate
amazing.
that.
Yeah, man. You got my boy got friends. So, yeah, man. You look happy. You're smiling, man. You're smiling. No, you
Hey
look good.
man, it's it's
Yeah,
it's been it's been a great time, man, and she's been so supportive of me along this journey, and she's absolutely incredible. She keeps me grounded. She's holding it down. So no, she's very special. But so
no, you
thank
guys
you
are
for that.
beautiful, man. Yeah, for sure, brother. Yeah. But to your question, bro, I definitely top five, man. I definitely got to put Dengadell in there for sure. Not even a question. He's just versatility. I just feel like he's so unique in the league because I know a lot of the really obviously are guards, but not really at the kind of wing. Like like the versatility of Deng is pretty special. Definitely got to put Khalil Ahmad out there. He's big time. Clutch player. Obviously won a championship. Um, that's two. Nick Ward, strong player. Physical, great presence. Man, he's really really good player. Always consistent wherever he goes. So that's three. Man, this is tough, man, because there's so many great. Like you can go so many directions. Um, what I think that is really good player. Uh, Played for Saskatchewan. Justin. Yeah, Justin Foreman. Yeah, man.
Justin Wright Foreman,
Justin Wright Foreman is. Yeah,
he's tough.
he's tough, bro. Like he can really go. Uh, my last top five because there's so many options you could put in there, man. But we can only do five. I put a Mod Hill in there.
Ahmad Hill, okay,
Yeah,
yep,
I think he's definitely. I mean, you could really go honestly, like Ahmad Hill. I mean, he's the CBL's all-time leading scorer, right?
yep.
Yeah. So I mean, Ahmad Hill, Cap Barber, Teddy Allen, all big-time guys. Really, really great players. But yeah, definitely Ahmad Hill. Ahmad Hill is a heck of a player,
Yeah,
and
he's very tough. Someone that can also guard 1 through 5. I feel like
that's true.
tough with the rock and someone that you do not want to be up against.
Yeah,
He's
no,
a straight killer and he's really made his mark in the CBL. So I would
exactly.
say that's a tough top
It's a
five,
good list. Yeah,
especially
thank
Justin
you.
Wright for me.
Yeah,
He's been hiding away in Saskatchewan, but every time we
yeah,
face him, it's been a tough go. Well, I think that's all I got for you, Zena. Thank you so much. I
man.
do have
Thank
to
you for
give you
having
your
me.
flowers though. Back in 2022, when I was starting out with the Blackjacks, man, you were one person who would give me the time of day. You were very professional throughout the whole thing. Made me feel welcome when I was just moved to a new city in Ottawa. So I want to thank you for that. Give you your flowers. You've been an
Thank you, bro. I
absolutely
appreciate
incredible
you.
person and athlete, and in any organization, be lucky to have you. So
Thank you,
so much
man.
love, man, and thank you so much for sitting down with me today and having this conversation.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you, man. It's been an honor getting to just know you, getting to know your family. Amazing, amazing family, great people. Seeing how you are with your fiance. Love that title, and just seeing everything you're accomplishing and how much every time. Like it's nothing's better than seeing good people continue to elevate and everyone is growing together. Even seeing the beard. You know what I mean? So like everything is just coming
No,
right,
hey,
bro.
I'm trying to I'm
Yeah,
I'm trying to
man.
look nice because every time I
No.
see Tyrell, he always clowns me for looking crazy. So I gotta be looking
No.
sharp now.
And just want to thank you for all you've done for the city of Ottawa, Ottawa basketball. just your commitment to the Blackjacks, to even creating a platform, even the genius to think about something like this and kind of tell like a lot of these untold stories, and to see how genuine you are with your interests and you are with people. So no, I appreciate you and I salute you, King. And seriously, man, just we're locked in
No,
and
I
continue great
appreciate
things
that,
happening
man.
our way. Yeah, man. Much love, my guy.
I appreciate it, man. When
Yeah,
this comes out, it's gonna be super special. Thank you so much for sitting down, having this conversation. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna get a lot out of it, and no, thank you so much, and I wish you continued success
thank you,
wherever
King.
you are. You just finished up in
Yeah,
Japan, but looking to see where you go on your next stop in your career.
man. Thank you for having me.